is what's destroying us. I say keep Obama in there. This country will really be in a revolution. I mean, I want my republic back, and I'm tired of a bunch of mainline Republicans, you know, going around telling me they're going to fix everything. You guys have done nothing but sell this country out. Anything else, caller?
Yeah, the only thing I say, I completely agree with you. I think that, honestly, we need to end up at the bottom, and that's the only way that anyone else is going to really wake up to this until it's staring them in the face. You know, it's hurting them in their stomach. That's the only way that, you know, change is going to actually happen. So I'm right with you. I say, you know, let's, you know, bring it to my front doorstep. Let's do this. You know, it's time to bring it all out in the open. They can, you know, stop their secretive stuff.
That's why Ron Paul and my listeners, and make no mistake, you're the turbo booster that got it into orbit. We got here because we're in their face with the truth, not compromising. That's what wins wars, is total commitment. We're in a war. Let's recognize it. Let's not play patty cake. I'm just telling the Pauls, your supporters aren't going to buy this. We'll be right back. Ron Paul and Rand Paul by extension, a second look at all this. So I don't want everybody just to run off foaming at the mouth. I mean, what did we expect? I mean, stay in, get delegates, got to still be the president that way with a minority of delegates. He was guaranteed to hand them over to Romney. What did they think? Well, keep the campaign going, keep educating people. But then at the key moment, don't fight for Texas. Don't fight for California. You just heard one of the campaign people from California earlier. I don't see Ron Paul and Rand Paul changing the Republicans. I see the Republicans changing them. And that's the issue. If I saw Romney out saying, we're going to disband the TSA, or we're going to stop the groping, I'll even take crumbs at this point. Or, you know, we're going to get out of the UN, or we're going to something. Nothing but warmongering and NDAA from Mitt Romney. And where does the Pauls think they're going to be in 6 months? Everybody's going to remember. We're not like mainline political idiots, Republicans and mainline, you know, Democrats and people. We're going to remember all of this. I mean, this is if you think there's an explosion today over this, imagine it down the road. This is a slow burn. As big as the explosions and fires are right now, it's only going to get bigger unless Ron Paul comes out and says specifically, and not in some little back channel email. You know, on TV, they make these big announcements, and everybody, you behave yourselves. Mitt Romney's our Lord and Savior. But then emails, oh, Ron Paul still got some plans. Come there. I mean, look, the Republicans are freaked out. They know Ron Paul was the real front runner. And there's a bunch of political dynasty stuff going on. And I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. And I'll say it right now. It's not like this is, you know, Queen Elizabeth and I'm a British subject and I'm supposed to, whatever you say, I'll be respectful. No, I won't be respectful in the face of tyranny because extremism and defense of liberty is no vice. Who said that? Barry Goldwater. I mean, look what we've turned into in this country by always compromising. Dan in Virginia, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Alex.
Yes, sir.
This is your Red Force cockroach videographer. And the high from this last weekend.
Oh, you're the great guy. Shot 7 hours of tape for us and gave it to us. By the way, we're using some of that in a piece for the Nightly News right now. Brother, private investigator, tell us what you think of the Ron Paul thing.
I'm so confused. I don't know which end is up right now. I feel like I'm going to be going to Tampa.
Are you gonna do what you're told and kneel to Romney?
Negative. No compromise.
Well, you're not a good person now, then.
Well, I'm just going to have to be evil, mean, and nasty. I can't figure what are they thinking. I was in South Carolina for the primary. Newt Gingrich had to cancel an event the day before the polling was done because nobody showed up. And, you know, it wasn't some sort of off-the-wall group that he was speaking
No. I mean, that's right. There's no Mitt Romney stickers, nothing but Ron Paul stickers, and now we're hearing we need to be respectful of Mitt Romney and the Republican machine that cheated Ron Paul. I mean, I'm trying to be nice here and feel like I'm shelling out by not full-bore attacking. But I'm going to hold back. I'm going to sit back on my judgment, but only for a few days. I better hear something from Ron Paul right now on this.
I'm with you on that. You know, I knew the fix was in South Carolina, the polls closed at 7. They declared a winner at 7 o'clock and 28 seconds.
Of course, the fix was in, my friend. Great to hear from you. A few more calls coming up, then I'm going to have Lord Monckton on about 30, 40 minutes, and I'll continue with calls. I haven't even gotten all the news. But, I mean, this is important, though, because we put Ron Paul where he is. Make no mistake, you, my listeners, did. He's admitted that. Rand Paul opposed the NDAA. Rand Paul opposed these new wars. Rand Paul is a good guy, but they've made a terrible miscalculation. I mean, it's one thing to say we're going to go and make a fracas and try to get Mitt Romney to commit to some things and have Mitt Romney say, you know, hey, I want you Ron Paul people, and I'm going to, you know, make these commitments. That would be at least something. But just, you know, Rand Paul, hey, I'm endorsing Mitt Romney, while the Ron Paul people via the campaign have all been told, keep going. You know, we're going to secretly have a victory. And I knew it wasn't real the last few months, and I'm kind of like, hey, don't call up telling me delegate this, delegate that. I was like, I think I've said on air before that, you know, it's going to look like they're trying to steal the election, and that I don't think Ron Paul's going to do that. And, of course, I've been proven right again. He has conceded that they didn't win the delegates and that they're not going to contest it, and that you need to go and behave yourself. We got Lord Monckton coming on for a couple segments for the big update. Then I'll continue with your calls on this subject and a bunch of others. Let's go to James in Omaha, Nebraska. Thanks for holding her on the air.
Hi, Alex. First-time caller. I'm actually a delegate here in Nebraska. I won my Sarpy County convention going on to the state. I'm really disheartened. I mean, it's, you know, I'm putting off family vacations. In my book, it goes God, family, country, and in this case, I was going to put country before family, and I almost feel like I'm getting shafted. Just one point, also, we should. Well, you know, your gut, if you're tuned in to the Almighty, is always right. And I got to be honest, my gut says betrayal. Sometimes the Paul people may not know this; they may have miscoordinated. That's why we got to hold back. But let me tell you, my political guns just swung around in their direction, and I got my radar on going, analyze, analyze. And now I'm like, you already knew this, Alex. You already saw the signs. And I'm like slapping myself in the face. It's just unbelievable. I'm sorry. Go ahead. If this is betrayal or miscalculated betrayal, unintentional betrayal, it's the type that hurts the worst. You know, I tell people in business, I'm in business with, you know, in life to, you know, get the capital to run this operation. It's one thing if I don't know somebody and they try to cheat me, but if I've worked with somebody for a long time and they do something wrong to me, I am their enemy forever. You make something personal with me, it's personal. I'm sorry, go ahead. No, I agree. I think that it's going to take a little bit of working on your side, but we should call Mittens by his God-given name, Willard, you know, from here on out. People need to call him by his name. He's got this Hollywood rock star named Mitt because that's the only way that he could get elected, because who's going to vote for a Willard? But and
then they'll say, oh, you must be for Obama. Hey, I'm done voting for the lesser two evils, okay? I mean, what do they think we're going to do? This is ridiculous.
His God-given name, too. But Willard and Mary, you know, if you can't even go by your own name that the good Lord gave you.
Well, it's like Obama. He's got so many names, we don't even know what his name is. I appreciate your call. Chris in Florida, you take us out. Go ahead.
Well, Alex, I've been impressed by Dr. Paul since about 1992 when I was becoming politically active and trying to decide for whom to vote when I was coming of age to vote. But he's done a great job at identifying the problem. I just don't agree with the solution of a state-mandated commodity-based currency credit system. And
now, that can be manipulated as too, but at least we're having a debate about it. That's why I look at all the options. But what do you think of what's happened currently?
It's not as shocking and surprising, considering that he abstained from the NDAA vote in the first vote for H.R. 347, Senate Bill 1794, and that he voted for the Afghanistan police action. I've been impressed by a lot of the things he's been saying, but the problem, of course, is that the issue of currency and credit does not.
Sure, and that's another debate. I hear you. I appreciate your call. Believe in God, not man. That's all I can tell you. But I've been threatened. My family's been threatened. I didn't compromise. I've been offered big jobs. I was offered Glenn Beck's job before he existed. It was described to me, the books, the national TV show. Don't I want it? I just sell out to, it's like, sell out to bathe in a latrine. I mean, no thank you. I just don't get selling out. It's not in me.
Texas, Alex Jones.
All right, folks, coming up in about 40 minutes, Adam Kokesh is going to pop in to give us his take on Rand Paul endorsing Mitt Romney and Ron Paul saying he's not going to use the delegates now to try to unseat or even cause a fracas or challenge it at the RNC. That means a deal's been made for VP for Rand or a cabinet position for Ron. We, the listeners, the supporters, need to then be told that and need to have the plan explained to us, not done behind closed doors, to then make our decision. I reserve judgment for now, but I've told you my issues, pro and con. They've got great voting records. They're constitutionalist, against carbon taxes, New World Order, all of it. So for now, I'm reserving judgment, but our listeners are not, and it's all over the web. 95% in votes are down on this. And the Republican Party's trying to spin it. Now, Obama's horrible. He's terrible. And I would like to think that Mitt Romney is going to be a good guy. But I know he has the same financial backers. He supported carbon taxes in the past. And I've had from Climate Depot, Mark Moreno, who's worked in the Senate, on saying he doesn't like Mitt Romney. And we got Lord Monckton on only for 2 or 3 segments. He's on about a host of breaking environmental news, also birth certificate news. He makes the joke that he found his birth certificate in Hawaii. It's really funny. I've got a Lord Monckton 2012 for president pin because he says so. Of course, he doesn't have fake names. He didn't give up his citizenship in Indonesia, so I guess he's more a U.S. citizen than Obama actually is. But let me ask you this, because you've been the head of the UK Independence Party, bringing it from nowhere to second, the fastest growing now, one of the biggest parties now. You've seen the inside of all this. I understand, hey, if the Republicans that supported Ron Paul got cheated, there was clear fraud, then why not have some influence by endorsing Romney? But what are we getting? I mean, I don't know if you've been following this, Lord Monckton, but it's the big hot issue. Before we digress into the other big issues, you're here with us with an update for today. What's your gut take on this, looking in from the outside, but also the inside, spending a lot of time each year here in the U.S. and sharing a lot of Ron Paul's views?
I think what's happened here is that it's become clear that Romney now has enough delegates to take the convention, virtually whatever anybody else does. And there comes a point where it isn't all that sensible to try fighting on. And I think Ron Paul has done very well hanging in there for as long as he has with the sensible views that he has. And I hope that the part of the deal that may have been done here is that he will be given some sort of cabinet post so that he can exercise some sensible influence over Mitt Romney or Willard or whatever his name is, because the difficulty that I see is that Romney hasn't really been very steady on matters of policy. At one moment, he's all in favour of doing nothing about climate change. The next moment, he's demanding that we must have cap and trade. The same on abortion, the same on many other issues, some of them very serious issues on which by now a politician hoping to hold the highest office in the land ought to have settled views.